Great. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Wildlife Conservation's Expo Wild Night Out. It's a pleasure to see so many faces here. I'm Collomb. I'm the CEO for WCN, and on behalf of all the conservationists and the entire team, I want to welcome you for joining us for this evening. It's going to be a great, fun, wild night out. I want this to be really engaging. It's already started. We had a bit of a delay getting everybody here, so we're going to keep on that engagement and want it to be interactive. So I'd like for folks, it's going to be hard because the lights are so bright in my eyes, but I'd like for folks to raise their hands if you've attended at least one expo in the past. So raise your hand. Wow, that's great. I want you to keep your hand up if you've attended at least 5 expos. Okay? Now we're going to take a big jump. I want you to keep your hand up if you've attended at least 20 expo or thereabouts. Okay, so there are a couple of folks. I want to thank you all for doing that. It's a pleasure to see all of you friends that we've known for a long time. It feels like we haven't seen each other for a while, and I think I started to get that energy of pre-pandemic, and it was really fantastic to see that. There are a couple people also who didn't raise their hands, so I want the people who are joining us here for the first time tonight to raise their hand. Please raise your hand. So you can keep your hand up for a second. People who have been here before, please take note of who's raising their hand. After the event, go introduce yourself, mingle, start to really build this community. You can bring your hands down now. So we're all here because we're united by our passion for wildlife, and more broadly, I think, for a healthier planet, which really means healthier relationships with each other and with nature. And I don't think I need to spend a whole lot of time talking about the statistics or the facts about the state of the world. We know that we're losing biodiversity. We know that we're suffering from climate change. We know that our human communities are suffering through conflicts. And I think, especially this week, the news have been really difficult to read, and we're all processing the state of the world as we can. And I think at that time, it's really important to also take a moment and think about what we can do right here. And right here tonight, our intention is to really re-spark this hope, this inspiration, and the power of people, the power that we all have to make the world a better place. So we're not going to solve all the world's problems, but many of the problems that we face are interrelated. And wildlife conservation can be this bridge that helps develop cross-sectoral solutions so that ultimately the fate of wildlife and people is really deeply intertwined. At the Wildlife Conservation Network, our mission is to protect endangered animals by supporting conservationists who ensure wildlife and people coexist and thrive. We invest in local conservation organizations whom we invite to join our partners network. With your support, we've deployed over the past 20 plus years $110 million to these 22 organizations that are at the core of WCN. We invest in local rising wildlife leaders. To this point, we've invested in 230 individuals at various points in their career, and that support is still growing. And when appropriate, we leverage the collective impact of multiple conservation projects to reverse the decline of species in crisis through our wildlife funds. So through these funds, thanks to your support, we've been able to deploy over $90 million to almost 200 grantees, making the whole community of WCN conservationists quite large. So you can see through our 3 strategies, we truly, and you truly, have a global reach. So in doing all this, we're guided by our values. Impact is an important value. We want to use data. We want to get your feedback from communities, feedback from conservationists, so that we can always learn and have as much impact as possible. Service, listening to the needs of the conservationists, to your needs, to the needs of the communities where the conservationists work, so that we can respond to those opportunities. Building communities so that we really develop relationships that are built on trust, on empathy, on mutual respect, so that we can have greater diversity in all of the approaches that we put forward. That goes along with collaboration. And finally, last but not least, integrity. And especially I want to call out financial transparency, accountability, and efficiency. And while it's only one measure, we're really proud of having a perfect score of 100 on Charity Navigator that ranks over, I don't need to finish a sentence, ranks many different conservation organizations. To date, we've deployed over $294 million thanks to your generosity. You've made a huge difference to wildlife conservation with this high degree of efficiency. 90% of the funds go to programs. We've got a 100% commitment where if you designate your support to a particular species, we'll make sure that it goes to that species. But it isn't just about that species. It's not just about wildlife. It's really about how we live with each other. It's about how we value diversity. It's about how we respect relationships with nature, how we invest in opportunities for kids, for women's, how we foster healthier landscapes, how we foster healthier communities themselves. It's that whole that really allows us to expand the reach of conservation, build towards the goals of 30 by 30 to protect more land so that we can fight climate change. The whole thing comes under this wedge of wildlife conservation. And it all starts with choices that we make. Choices that we make here in San Francisco or in New York, but also in Kigali in Rwanda, in Samburu in Kenya, in Batan Grande in the Peruvian Andes, or in Puerto Maldini in Argentina. It's choices that people make to decide to behave and act differently and to care. And tonight, it really is about connecting you and your passion to the passion of all these conservationists. Many of the conservationists are here. You've already started meeting them. You'll continue meeting them. You'll get several of them who'll share their stories with you on stage tonight. And we really want to foster this partnership between us so that together we can help ensure these conservationists achieve their missions better and faster. As I've said, your generosity is really deeply appreciated. Your trust is deeply appreciated. We would not have been able to achieve what we've achieved without you over the years. We pass on 100% of the funds that is designated for particular species to those species. There's no donation that's too small and none that's too big. We really want you to, yeah, that's not a joke actually. We really want you to build those relationships with the conservationists. That's why we bring everybody here together. We create this platform so that you can find out what they're doing. That's part of that transparency value. You can learn about them. They can learn about you. They can learn about your interest and create all those great partnerships so that together we can have the highest impact for wildlife and people and make sure that we can coexist in the future. I also want to thank our sponsors for the events. The Disney Conservation Fund, the Walt Disney Company, and the Gordon Betty Moore Foundation. Those partnerships also go beyond just supporting the events. They've also been deep partners with us. Disney has provided over $8 million to WCN for various conservation efforts to the conservationists who are present here. And thanks to the help of the Gordon Betty Moore Foundation, we'll be able to expand our work with rising wildlife leaders in the Amazon basin soon. I also want to thank, of course, the WCN staff. We wouldn't be able to put on these events without them. We're not going to do a round of applause at this time. We're trying to catch up on time, but a smile goes a really long way. So when you see them running around, and you could do this quick round of applause. But thank you to all of them. They've worked really hard to create this opportunity for conservationists and all of you to meet, to mingle, and to have partnerships that go forward. And now I want to invite a real special colleague. Bwalia Kampamba, who's traveled from Zambia, runs our career program, which is a real illustration of our commitment to rising wildlife leaders. Bwalia is an accomplished conservationist in her own right. She has boundless energy. She has a deep, deep passion for connecting with people and making sure that they are equipped to be the fantastic leaders that they can be, that the planet needs them to be today and tomorrow. It's my pleasure and honor to put us in the hands of Bwalia for the rest of the evening as our MC. Thank you so much.